want to talk to you about something that is happening right now in India. A movement called Cockroach Janata Party has taken over the social media. "20 million Instagram followers in less than a week. That is more than the followers that the largest party in the world, the BJP, has. And definitely more than the Congress. Both parties that have been around for decades. And yet, Cockroach Janata Party has more Instagram followers. They are trying to use and harness an anger or grievance amongst the youth. There are students who have spent years preparing for the life-defining examinations and for which their families have given everything that they have and sacrificed a lot. Some of those examinations were leaked, some were rigged, and some just crashed.
जेई री नीट की प्रस्तुति कैसे चल रहा है उसको थोड़ा समीक्षा करने के लिए इस बार हम लोग थोड़ा और ज्यादा प्रिपरेशन लिए हैं.
I want to talk to you about something that is happening right now in India. A movement called Cockroach Janata Party has taken over the social media. They have amassed 20 million Instagram followers in less than a week. That is more than the followers that the largest party in the world, the BJP, has. And definitely more than the Congress. Both parties that have been around for decades. And yet, Cockroach Janata Party has more Instagram followers. They are trying to use and harness an anger or grievance amongst the youth, the origin of which has real issues. There are students who have spent years preparing for the life-defining examinations and for which their families have given everything that they have and sacrificed a lot. Some of those examinations were leaked, some were rigged, and some just crashed. Like, for example, NEET for the medical colleges, the JEE for the IITs and the other engineering colleges, the CUET or the Common University Entrance Test for admission to multiple universities, the SSC, the Staff Selection Commission, for multiple government posts, and now most recently the CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education. The list just goes on. Quite simply, there is a genuine pain. So this video is not going to say that the students are wrong prima facie to be angry. They are not. But this video is also going to say something that I think every young Indian watching this video needs to hear. There is a strategy underlying this movement that is also real and battle-tested. A 60-year-old strategy, time-tested, a strategy that has brought on governments in Egypt, in Libya, in Sri Lanka, in Bangladesh, in Nepal. Again, the list just goes on. And if you do not see it for what it is, you will end up like those countries. Not better, just worse. Let me show you exactly how it works. Let me ask you something simple. When the students get genuinely angry and start a movement, what does that normally look like? Think clearly. It looks messy, different people want different things, the messaging is all over the place, someone makes a sign that has a typo, two leaders disagree on the camera, demands keep coming and changing, and because people are figuring it out as they go. That is what real spontaneous anger looks like. Now look at the Cockroach Janata Party. On day one, the branding was already perfect. The memes, they were remarkably consistent. The tone, the logo, the content, all of it was professional grade right from the start. And look at the escalation. It did not stay just on exam failures, which was a real issue. It moved very quickly. First, it was the National Testing Agency or the NTA, then the third parties that NTA works with, and then straight away the government. So the key is that the demand of this party stopped being fix the exams. It actually became that this government must go. That shift did not happen because the impacted students thought that was the right direction to go. That shift was designed. It was customized for some political ends. I'm not saying that the students and the grievances are fake. I'm saying the movement around the students is not organic. There is a difference. The students' grievance is the fuel, but someone else is driving the car. And the destination is not what the students think it is. Before I go further, let me be straight with you about the examination failures, because this part is important and it needs to be said very clearly. India moved its national exams to digital platforms, the JEE, the NEET, the CUET, the SSC, banking exams, all of it moved online. That was the right decision. The old system had paper leaks happening everywhere for decades. Criminal networks were embedded in the state exam boards all across the country. That could not be fixed without changing the whole system. So digitization, or going digital, was absolutely the right step for the nation and for the students. But the people who built the digital system made one big mistake. They built it to handle millions of students. They did not build it to handle the criminals who are specifically trying to break it. Those are two different things. Let me give you 3 examples. NEET 2024. The CBI traced the paper leak to Hazaribagh and Patna. Officials were compromised. The brokers distributed the paper. 155 students got the questions before the exam even started. Old style corruption just adapted to the new system. Then JEE 2021. This one is the most dangerous. A company called Affinity Education in Noida presented itself as a legitimate education consultancy. It was a front for a criminal gang. Here is what they did. They did not steal the question paper. They did not need to. During the live exam, their people remotely accessed the computers at the exam center when the enrolled candidates sat in front of the screens pretending to work. The solvers, sitting somewhere else entirely, answered the questions on behalf of the candidates paying for the service. In fact, a Ukrainian hacker was involved in that operation. Think about that. The paper was safe, the technology was unbroken, but the exam, that was completely compromised. That is how sophisticated this has become. And CUET, the Common University Entrance Test 2026, TCS has admitted that their platform crashed for 2 hours during the live national examination. 2 hours. For hundreds of thousands of students whose entire future is riding on that one day. These failures are real. The students are right to be aggrieved. They put in years of work, families funded their studies, the extra tuitions, and made genuine sacrifices. All of it put at risk by a system that was not secured properly. But here is a question. Who benefits most from that grievance that has been turned into anger? The students or someone else? Now let's go into something else. In March 2026, something else broke out that most people are not connecting to this story. The TCS Nashik case. 9 FIRs were filed, 7 arrests were made. The NIA, the ATS, and the Intelligence Bureau all started investigating at the same time. 6 women police officers went undercover inside the TCS facility for 40 days. 40 days. Because nothing inside TCS itself had caught what was going on across 4 years of operation. Remember that. 4 years. The people arrested were not small employees. They were team leaders, HR managers, people with real authority inside the company. The allegations document a 4-year organized operation targeting Hindu women employees, grooming them, coercing them, putting religious pressure on them, and the HR system that should have received complaints was being run by people connected to the accused. So the complaints went nowhere. And then there is this. The investigators identified external handlers based in Malaysia, Pakistan, and other countries. Nida Khan, who was a HR person, her laptop and phone revealed that she had contacts with 136 radical organizations across multiple countries. In fact, she would participate in video calls with Pakistan-based organizations and individuals who were training her specifically in methods of religious conversion. More importantly, targeting Hindu employees at the TCS Nasik BPO unit. Now connect these dots. The same TCS runs most of these top exams in India through its unit, the TCS ION. So TCS runs JEE, TCS runs NEET, TCS runs CUET, TCS holds the biometric records and personal data for tens of millions of young Indians. Every student who sat for a major national exam in the last several years, their data is in that system. A company that could not detect a coordinated criminal operation inside its own walls for 4 years, the question that we should ask them is, what data did those criminals have access to, and what was copied? What was sent out of India to those terror organizations and their handlers in ISI and other intelligence agencies that we don't know of? That question has not been publicly asked or even answered. And it needs to be, because Pakistan and Malaysia connection is not random. Malaysia is a known hub for Pakistan-linked networks that target Indian institutions, while Pakistan, well, it's the kingpin of the terror network around the world. So let us be clear. This was not just a workplace harassment. This was an institutional penetration with a foreign coordinator. And we are supposed to believe that the exam failures that TCS conducts and the CGP protests happening right now are all completely unrelated to all of this that happened in TCS Nasik? Well, I don't believe that. Now, I want to take you back to 1966. Stay with me. This is where everything connects. Two professors at Columbia University in US, Richard Cloward and Francis Fox Piven, published a paper. They were writing about poverty and welfare systems. But what they were actually creating was a blueprint for bringing down governments by overloading them with crisis. Here is the idea in plain terms. Every government has pressure points. Every society has people who are genuinely suffering and genuinely angry. If you can find those people, organize that anger, and push it to a breaking point, the government can collapse under the weight of all this. And when it collapses, you put your people in. Isn't it simple, ruthless, very effective? And here is the part that makes it so hard to fight. You do not need to manufacture the grievance always. You can work wonders with real grievance, because only real suffering produces real anger. And only real anger produces the kind of movement that can actually break a government. So the strategy is, find the real wound, attach a political weapon to it, and make sure no one can tell where the wound ends and the weapon begins. 4 steps are involved in this subversive operation using the cloward-pivan strategy as it is known today. Every single time, it works the same way. Step 1. Find a genuine grievance or manufacture one. Something that can hurt real people. Step 2. Build an organization around it. Not to solve the problem, to escalate it. To make it worse, louder, more confrontational, more visible. And step 3. Use the government's response against them. If they crack down, that becomes the story. If they give in, the demands get bigger. Either way, the government looks either weak or tyrannical. Both the ends are good for these people. And step 4, have your political alternative ready before the crisis peaks. So when the government fails, your people walk in. The participants, the students, the protesters, the ordinary people in the street, they do not need to know any of this. Most of them will never know this. They are fighting for something real in their eyes. They believe in what they are doing. They don't know that they are just mere tools. That is what makes this strategy so powerful and yet so dangerous. Now, the cloward-pivan strategy is not a theory. It is a battle-tested, well-thought-out subversion mechanism. Egypt 2011, there was real suffering leading to real anger. The same culprits: corruption, poverty, no jobs, no dignity, and also a very well-organized international network helping manage the movement. An escalation architecture that had been developed for years before the uprising began. Mubarak fell, and then what? The Muslim Brotherhood came in, then the army came back, and Egypt has been paying for that instability ever since. The people who marched for dignity never ever got dignity. They simply got chaos and unbearable lives. Libya, 2011. Gaddafi fell, and Libya has not had a functioning government ever since. Foreign armies are fighting on Libyan soil right now. The people who marched for freedom are living in a failed state. In fact, they have been sold in markets as sex slaves. Sri Lanka 2022. Real economic crisis happened. Real suffering was there. People storming the presidential palace, and yes, the government was mismanaged. But the transition that followed, was it better? Ask the Sri Lankan people. And then let's go to Bangladesh 2024. This one I want you to pay close attention to because it is the closest mirror to what is being attempted within India. Students had a somewhat legitimate grievance: unfair civil services quota. The real grievance was escalated into anger through widespread and violent protests. Within weeks, Sheikh Hasina's government was gone. The students who were protesting suddenly saw the entire movement get a political transition. Pakistan had taken Bangladesh as their vassal. The government that replaced Hasina had open connections to Islamist networks. Bangladesh's relationship with India went from difficult but manageable to openly hostile almost overnight. The Hindu minority in Bangladesh has faced conditions we all know about and need not repeat it here. The students who had marched wanted a fairer country, but they got a country that now serves Pakistan's interests. That is the product of this strategy when it succeeds. Now, what the marchers and the aggrieved people wanted, that is a product of this strategy when it actually succeeds. Not what the marchers and the aggrieved people wanted, but what the planners had designed it for. India has already been through these in two versions already, not very long ago. The CEA protests, for example, the Shaheen Bagh operation that went on for 101 days, where women were sitting on the road getting free biryani and subversive actors were calling for breaking India and its chicken neck. Within no time, the pliant foreign media had made it an international story, and was all built on one claim that the Citizenship Amendment Act was going to strip Indian Muslims of their citizenship. That claim was a lie. Everyone knew it. Read the act. Any Indian can read it. It gave persecuted non-Muslim minorities from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh a faster path to Indian citizenship. It gave something to some people that had been promised to them for years. It took nothing from anyone away. Not one Indian Muslim's citizenship was touched. Human rights laws call what was given to those non-Muslim minorities from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh as a non-refoulement. You cannot send refugees back to the countries where they came from and they can be killed there. The anxiety in the Muslim community was manufactured. The lie was repeated by everyone without any contest. Now, we all know that the anxieties about identity run deep and do not always need a specific law to fuel the urgent. But the specific claim that this law was targeting Muslim citizens of India was a complete lie. It was deliberately constructed, and it had organizational infrastructure behind it. Then there was this so-called farmers' protest, the farm laws. Every government for decades, including the Congress government, had said India's agriculture market needed these kind of reforms. The laws were genuinely useful and had been commented on for decades. They were not anti-farmer. And then the toolkit came. The Poetic Justice Foundation, a Khalistani organization founded by Mo Dhaliwal and others, had prepared a sequenced action plan. On February 3rd, 2021, Rihanna tweeted about it. Greta Thunberg tweeted about it as well. A list of international celebrities posted on the same hashtag on the same day. That this happened by accident would be too much of a coincidence. Celebrities like Rihanna do not tweet about some local laws in a country across the globe without adequate funds. Result was that the farm laws were repealed. And everyone running this playbook against India learned one thing from that such operations do work sometimes. So now they are planning a similar operation using a different pretext. Let us go back to the CJP now. The founder is a 30-year-old PR student at Boston University in America. He previously ran the meme campaigns for the AAP party. The X account, the Twitter account, was registered in the United States. Within 72 hours of the movement launching, it had scaled to numbers that political parties with 40 years of history have not reached, just in 72 hours. Now, I'm not saying that all the followers are fake. Some may not. I am not saying that the students who joined due to their grievance are not real. Many of them are genuinely angry, genuinely Indian, and genuinely hurt. But I am asking a simple question. Who paid for all this? Who is funding the whole infrastructure? The social media operation, the coordination, the organizational backbone, none of that is free. Try getting 1 million Instagram followers if you can in a month, and you will know what it costs. These supposedly ragtag group of activists who have never been successful in their lives got 20 million Instagram followers in 72 hours. Now look at what the movement actually demands. If the CJP genuinely wanted to fix examination, the demands would have been very specific, right? Say, for example, lock down exam center computers and carry out independent audits after every exam. Heavily penalize TCS or any other third party for every failure in such examinations because they're big. Create a proper regulatory body for examination security itself. It is national security at the end of the day. These demands can be made and genuine legislative changes can be brought in. They would actually fix the problem that created the issues for the students. Are those the demands you are seeing? Or are the demands that the government must go, the leadership must be replaced, the whole system is illegitimate? Those demands do not fix any exam. They're designed to produce only one thing: a regime change. And the people who benefit from that regime change are not the students. The people who benefit are not the ones who built the machinery behind the movement. And when their candidate actually comes to power on the back of that machinery, the debt gets paid. Not in money, but in access and decisions, in the slow alignment of India's entire institutional framework with interests that are not India's. That is what is at stake. India's sovereignty, your independence. I want to speak to you directly now, to all the students who are actually impacted by all this. Your grievance is legitimate. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise, including me. The exam system actually failed you. Years of your life, your family's savings, your sleep, your health, your mental well-being, all of it that has been sacrificed for these examinations that were compromised. You have every right to demand accountability. But I want to ask you one honest question. When the people leading this movement say the government must fall, what happens to your exam problem after that? Does a new government automatically fix the endpoint security on the exam computers? Does it automatically stop the criminal syndicates from bribing test center staff? Does it automatically audit the TCS or any other third party? No. Worse, What if, and the chances of this are very high, those issues and security breaches were actually orchestrated by the foreign agents like in, say, Pakistan or other countries, in collaboration and in complete agreement with the new actors who may get installed? You see, the exam problem is a technical and administrative failure. It requires specific structural solutions. It does not require a political revolution. But a political revolution is what you are being asked to deliver. Look at what happened in Bangladesh. The students who brought on Sheikh Hasina, some of them are actually speaking publicly now about what they got wrong. They are speaking from a Bangladesh where things they marched for never arrived, where the networks they helped remove a government for have grown stronger and weaker. Many of those girls were humiliated, molested, and violated who had actually participated in that entire protest. Many of them have spoken up publicly about what they actually didn't get right, what was completely wrong about the whole thing. They're speaking from a Bangladesh where things they marched for had never come. They were used, not because they were stupid, but because they were angry, and someone else exploited that anger because they could not see the full picture. India's youth needs to be smarter than that. You can be angry and still ask, who benefits from my anger? You can demand accountability and still ask, is this movement actually going to fix my problems? Hold both the questions with you at the same time. That is intelligence, not some weakness or confusion. So what should really happen right now? There are two tracks that need to happen simultaneously, not one or the other, both together. Track one is fix the examination system in the real way by establishing accountability and with urgency. We cannot have any remote access software allowed on exam computers. Hardware needs to be locked down. Live monitoring during every exam needs to happen by the right agencies. Independent audits should be published by the NTA and the third parties after every major examination. Very high penalties, prohibitive penalties, should be put on vendors, TCS included, every time a system fails or paper leaks. And most importantly, a proper regulatory body with real powers needs to be created, and a full forensic investigation into what data has been accessed during the TCS Nasik operation should be done ruthlessly. These are specific actions that are achievable, and any government should be pushed to bring this in. Track 2. Expose the machinery behind this movement. Who is funding it? Follow the money. This is not some conspiracy theory. This is a basic accountability question. Apply FCRA scrutiny. Make the findings public. Who are the external connections? The Nasik investigation identified Pakistan and Malaysia-based handlers. The farmer protest toolkit was traced to a Khalistani organization. The question of who is coordinating CJP movement's escalation is a legitimate investigative question. And who is the political beneficiary? When a government is replaced through manufactured crisis, it owes its existence to those who manufactured the crisis. That debt shapes every decision that government makes afterwards. India's civil society, the journalists, the analysts, the educators, community leaders need to hold both tracks at the same time. They need to push through both the questions, validate the students' genuine anger, and name the machinery that is exploiting it. Validate the students' genuine grievance and move forward with the right kind of changes. If you can only do one of those things, you are helping the wrong side. You need to do both. Let me leave you with this. India's exam system failed a generation of students. That is the real failure. It needs to be fixed with the same seriousness we would bring to any national security threat, because that is what it is. But India is facing something else right now. A test that has no date, no hall ticket, no syllabus. The test is whether enough people can see the difference between the wound and the weapon. Whether we can be angry about the right things and clear-eyed about who is using that anger. whether we can demand real reform and refuse to be turned into someone else's instrument at the same time. The cloward-pivan strategy has worked in Cairo, in Tripoli, in Colombo, in Dhaka, and many other places. It works by making the real wound and the attached weapon look very identical. The answer is not to deny the wound or the grievance. The answer is to name the weapon and those that hold it. TCS Nasik showed us that foreign-linked operations can run inside India's most sensitive institutions for 4 years without being caught. The exam failures showed us that the criminal networks understood the system's weaknesses better than the people who actually built it. And the CJP movement is now trying to turn both of those failures into something that hands control of India's future to forces that have been working against India for a long time. The students who are angry deserve better than to be used like this. India deserves better. And I think enough of us are awake to make sure that that is what happens. I am Desh Kapoor. This is Drishtikone. If this made you think, please share the video, especially with the young people in your life who are following CJP, not to shut down their anger, to make sure their anger actually lands where it needs to. See you in the next episode. Jai Hind.